There are new ongoing instances that could imply that the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit is still underway. The matter came to an end in the courtroom. Is it going to happen? What's the most recent update on the XRP Ether saga? To discover out, watch the video until the conclusion. But first, at the end of the month, we'll give out 50 XRP coins to one lucky subscriber to help them get started with XRP. All you have to do is like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment below with your thoughts on XRP. Greetings, XRP Army. Several members of the XRP community have predicted the arrival of the next court update. The SEC versus Ripple Labs litigation entered its second year in 2022 on January 19. Crypto observers were in for a treat once the SEC's most recent filing was made public. The paper takes aim at one of Ripple's case's core pillars, which is a nice surprise: the Securities and Exchange Commission and the defendant, John M. Fife and his 5 enterprises, were at odds in the Fife case. In its submission, the SEC emphasized the following: the identical fair notice claim was rejected in the Fife at the pleading stage. In this case, Ripple claims that the SEC has moved to strike. The paper continues, despite acknowledging the lack of binding authority, construing the phrase dealer. Fife dismissed the defendant's fair notice claim on the motion to. In Ripple's instance, there was binding authority for interpreting the word investment contract. It has been since 1946. WJ 328 US at 298.99. Howey Co. 328 US at 298.99. As a result, Fife adds to the authority for dismissing Ripple's fourth affirmative defense, according to industry insiders and media influencers. The SEC versus Ripple litigation is significant. More alarmingly, others believe that the eventual verdict may change crypto policy in the United States, making it more than just another tiresome legal battle. This could either encourage or drive domestic fintech firms to relocate to other countries. The case, according to business journalist Charles Gasparino, has the potential to be the most important in the country by 2022. Cryptocurrencies will be the largest ever. The case's conclusion will have an immediate impact on the tens of thousands of XRP holders whose assets have been frozen or delisted as a result of occurrences they believe are related to the ongoing dispute. If you think Ripple will win the case soon, leave a comment with XRP Army. There has also been a lot more new information in the SEC case. The Securities and Exchange Commission has submitted a letter in support of its proposal to strike Ripple's fourth affirmative defense, known as the fair notice argument. In order to support its request to strike Ripple's fourth affirmative defense, the Fife defendants claimed, as indicated in the letter, that they were not provided proper notice of the SEC's novel interpretation of the statutory word dealer. By the way, did you hear about this? Let us know what you think in the comments area below. Although the court acknowledged that the legislation is the standard against which the SEC tries to analyze defendants' conduct for the purposes of assessing fair notice and due process, the court ruled in favor of the SEC, stating that the statute's language, which defendants and all others arguably involved in securities transactions have evidently had, the standard against which defendants' conduct is judged is defined as notice. In SEC v. Ripple, the SEC is expected to adopt the similar reasoning. It is for the courts, not the parties, to assess whether particular behavior falls inside or outside the scope of the act. In fact, the court rejected the defendants' fair notice defense when they filed their petition to dismiss, even though the court acknowledged the lack of binding authority in the definition of the term dealer. Since 1946, there has been a binding authority interpreting the term investment contract in Ripple's case. While Ripple Labs works on a response to the SEC's notice, XRP community attorney Jeremy Hogan turned to Twitter to share his thoughts just a little. The SEC's position in its motion to strike Ripple's fair notice defense is strengthened. It was at a different point of the case, and the standard was fundamentally different, he added, referring to the SEC v. Ripple case. The defendant in the Fife case attempted to use the doctrine of fair notice to have the suit dismissed altogether since the criterion was not met. A party seeking to strike a pleading bears a hefty burden of proof. After all is said and done, Fife can still use it as a positive defense in the future, and I expect them to do so. The SEC is attempting to strike the affirmative defense of fair notice in the Ripple case, and it faces a high standard of proof. Unless there is no plausible method to win, the basic rule in modern courts is that the decision should be decided after reviewing the facts, he clarified. However, one of the most disputed points is that the SEC recognizes XRP as a security but does not classify Ether as such for whatever reason. Is there any chance that this will change now? In 2018, Gary Gensler, a professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, argued, when the developers of Ether dispersed $18 million in tokens without registering them as securities with the Securities and Exchange Commission, they breached federal law. Do you think Ether, like XRP, should be classified as a security? If that's the case, you'll want to give this video a thumbs up. Today, as chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Gensler will not declare if he has altered his position about cryptocurrencies or whether he believes the second most valued cryptocurrency after Bitcoin is still a security, a question whose answer might have far-reaching implications. This has far-reaching consequences for the whole crypto industry, including major exchanges like Coinbase, Coin, and FTX. I'm not going to speak about any specific matter, Gensler said in an interview with CNBC on Monday. He was responding to a question about whether Ether is a security measure or not. I am also the head of the Civilian Law Enforcement Commission, in addition to being a civil law enforcement body. We don't participate in these types of public forums where we can discuss any single project or provide legal advice over the airwaves. I explained. He has already said that U.S. security legislation and case law are insufficient. Make it clear which digital assets are securities and that the great majority of crypto tokens now available are being distributed to the general public in violation of the law. The Howey test argues that an instrument is regarded as security if it meets certain criteria. A contract is a transaction or a scheme in which a person invests his or her money in a joint venture and is guided to success. This is important. In the viewpoint of the law, a collection of criteria for assessing whether an asset is a security. The key point in regards to cryptocurrencies is whether or not they genuinely constitute currency. A common enterprise is a group of people who work together on a project. According to William Hinman, a former director of the Securities and Exchange Commission's Division of Corporate Finance, Bitcoin BTC USD 0.06% and Ether developers did not have any knowledge of the financial markets. He stated in a lecture in 2018 that adequate control over their currencies is required to meet this condition. However, Hinman is no longer employed by the SEC, and his speech does not constitute formal guidance. Ripple Labs Inc. and two of its executives are being sued by the Securities and Exchange Commission. The question over whether or not Ether should be prohibited has resurfaced in the public eye. When the Securities and Exchange Commission brought suit against Ripple, the business responded by claiming that there is no principled distinction between its present purpose and that of, because Gensler, a Democrat, has declined to explain why the SEC deems XRP to be a security rather than other digital currencies like Bitcoin or Ether. This, crypto advocates, as well as the two Republican commissioners, are angered by the lack of clarification on the SEC's 5-person board of directors. What are your thoughts on this news? Do you believe the SEC will change its mind about XRP and Ether? Let us know what you think in the comments area. If you wish to learn more about XRP, there are 2 films on the last screen that you can watch. Please consider subscribing and giving us a thumbs up. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch. Look forwards to seeing you in the future video. Please keep in mind that cryptocurrency prices fluctuate regularly. So by the time you see this video, it may have changed to a completely different value. The material in this video is not intended to be investment or financial advice. None of it should be construed as financial, trading, or other types of advice. And none of it should be construed as investment advice. The content itself, this video's information is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Before making any investment decisions, do your homework and consult with your financial advisor.